Okay, this lesson is about confused words. Some words sound alike but have different meanings and different spellings, and we call these words homophones. And these often create confusion in writing. And there's no real grammatical trick about these. This is a matter of usage and correct usage. And so the best way to go through this is just to give the most common points of confusion on these confused words. And we'll just go through a list. There's nothing terribly exciting here, but as we're going through the list, identify those that you have the most trouble with, and you'll see them, you'll spot them and say, oh yeah, I always get those mixed up, I get those confused. So keep an eye out for those and try and use some of the memory tricks that I'll be presenting to help you eliminate confusion. Okay, accept and accept. So accept is a verb. In other words, someone or someone must be doing the accepting. We've learned about subjects and verbs. So I accept your proposal of marriage. The store does not accept credit cards. You can see how it functions there as a verb. Accept functions like the word excluding. I like all ice cream flavors except chocolate. I'm free every day except Thursday. Affect and effect. So affect is a verb, kind of like the one we just looked at, and someone or something must be affecting something else. Okay. So that movie affected me quite a bit. It's the movie that did the affecting. An effect mostly functions as a noun. That movie had an effect on my sleep. So you can see effect here is a thing, it's a noun that happened as a result of the movie. Okay, one way to remember these is to think a verb is action, is an action word. An affect starts with A for action. Maybe that helps, maybe it doesn't. But that's one way that I remember the difference between the two. Are and our. Pronounced correctly, these really shouldn't cause too much confusion. One is pronounced are and the other our. But in regular speech, we often do kind of slur these words and they come out sounding the same, which can show up in our writing. But are is a form of the verb be and describes a state of being. Kind of functions like the equal sign, joining two parts of a sentence. We are driving to California next week. And of course, our is a possessive form of we. Our grandparents are meeting us there. Conscience and conscious. Conscience is that inner voice that tells you what is right or wrong. My conscience told me not to stay at that party. Conscious indicates awareness or state of awareness. I felt self-conscious on my first day of class, so it's almost like I felt self-aware. Conscious is awareness. Farther and further. Farther refers to a distance that can be measured. How much farther do we have to walk? And further indicates unmeasurable, abstract distance. I don't want to talk about this any further. Okay, so when we're talking about something no further, it's an unreal distance. So a hint here is to think the one with the A is actual, as in farther, and the one with the U is unreal, as in further. Okay, its and its. ITS is the possessive form of the pronoun it. So the dog lost its collar while we were camping. And then IT'(s) is the contraction for it is. It's not too late to change your mind. One way to know if you have the right one here is to, if you've used the apostrophe, uncontract it. Say it is. So, for example, and then see if it makes sense. In that first one, you'd say, the dog lost its collar while we were camping. That doesn't make sense, so you wouldn't put an apostrophe there. Just remember that ITS is always a contraction of it is. The point of confusion, I think, comes from the idea that, well, we think apostrophes show possession, so that's the one that shows possession. Well, that's not the case here. because its is already a possessive word by nature. You don't need to put an apostrophe in there to show its possession. Lay and lie. Lay is a verb and must be accompanied by an object. So you lay something down, that's the object. Lay the paper down on the desk. Lie means to recline. You should go lie down on the bed. Loose and lose. Often this is just kind of a misspelling. People don't actually use these words incorrectly in speech. But loose, two O's, is the opposite of tight. The lid on the jars is loose. Think of it as rhyming with goose. LOSE is the present form of lost. So stay close so we don't lose you in the crowd. Of and have. This confusion comes when we try to do, when we're speaking and trying to write a contraction of could have. So the incorrect version is, I could have won if that guy hadn't tripped me. That's incorrect. It's, I could have won if that guy hadn't tripped me. Or if we want to use the contraction, it would look like this. I could have won. So should have, would have, might have, must have, all of that is incorrect. That's what it would look like if we wanted to have the contracted form. Or, of course, we can just have should have, would have, might have. Past and past. Past is the past tense of the verb to pass. So I passed the car on the freeway yesterday. And then past refers to time. There is something suspicious about her past, and past also indicates beyond. Like go past the next light, then turn right. Principal and principal. Principal means the main, like the main administrator of the school. The principal reason for this problem is bad planning. That's like the main reason for this problem is bad planning. Or the principal will direct the assembly today. Principle, LE, is an ideal or truth. I won't lie to you because it is against my principles. A common memory device for this is it works okay. That is to think that the principal at a school is your pal, principal. That helps some people. You can use it or not. Sense and since. So sense relates to perception. I sense your frustration. Or intelligence and reason. To use common sense. Or it can be like a feel for how something works. A sense of humor or a sense of justice. Since, with an I, relates to time. We haven't eaten since noon. Or it sort of functions like the word because. Since we haven't eaten, let's take a lunch break. Than and then. This is probably one of the most common that comes up as I look at writing and grade writing. And than indicates a comparison. So better than, worse than, taller than, colder than. So I like apples more than oranges. And incidentally, I don't know if this will help you or not. It helps me. But when you if you compare apples and oranges, apple starts with an A, and that is the one that indicates comparison as than, the one with the A. That might be a stretch. It's actually helped me, so there you go. Then indicates sequence or consequence. First this, then that. Or if this, then that. Okay, we went to the store, then the post office. If you don't study for the test, then you won't pass this class. There, there, and there. So there shows possession. I just love their new car. Some people remember this because this is the only version that has I in it, and I like to possess things. THERE indicates place or existence. Put the cup right there, that's indicating place, or there is a problem, indicating existence. They apostrophe RE is a contraction of the words they are. Okay, so they're nice people. They're the nicest people you will ever meet. Two and two. Okay, TOO means also, or it indicates an excess of something. Okay, so I like to go to the movies too. That's like also. Or that movie had too much violence. That's an excess. And then TO should just be used for all other cases, unless, of course, it's the number, but it's pretty obvious when that is to be used. TWO. Okay, I realize this is just a big list, but we're just about there. Remember, keep an eye out for those ones that you have trouble with. So weather and weather. Weather relates to atmospheric conditions. That's the EATHER. I hope the weather is nice today. Then WHETHER introduces an option. It doesn't matter whether or not you agree with me. Okay. With these two words, wear, WEAR, it relates to clothing or carrying anything upon one's person. I usually don't wear earrings. WHERE indicates a place. I want to live where wild animals roam free. Were and we're actually pronounced differently, but sometimes in speech they get confused and therefore get confused in writing. But were is the past tense form of the verb to be. So we were at the party together last night. We're is a contraction of we are. We are going to win the lottery any day now. Whose and whose. WHOSE shows possession. Whose jacket is this? WHO apostrophe S is a contraction of who is. Okay, who's going to climb with me? And a way to know which one is the right one here is to uncontract it and see if it makes sense. Who is going to climb with me makes sense, so we know that would be who apostrophe S. It wouldn't make any sense to say whose jacket is this, so we know that that's the one that takes the WHOSE. Okay, so finished with confused words. Again, keep an eye out for the ones that give you trouble. And when you're proofreading your own work, every time you come across one of those words, just kind of double check it and make sure that you have used the correct form. Word processing programs like Microsoft Word may or may not catch an incorrect usage here because it is spelled correctly, it's just used in the wrong way. And remember that there is the exercise handouts associated with this lesson and all lessons, as well as the workbook that this course is based on that can give you some more practice on this concept.